Hey guys, and welcome back to Building with Whip. As you can see, we got some shaders on right now, which means that we are in episode 50 World Tour and Download. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support on this series. It has been incredible. I've been loving this so much, and I really enjoy building in this world. Anyways, what we're doing here today is we're going to walk through and kind of show you guys everything that we got going on. This house we are in right now is our original first house that we built on this world. It's pretty awesome. It's a little great. Well, it's a little two-story desert house. This is our city of Papyrus. This is the first place we lived in, and we built a lot of cool stuff here. So anyways, I want to check this out for the guys who are newer to the series and newer to the channel. You probably haven't seen a whole lot of this, so we're going to be checking out quite a lot of stuff in here. Anyways, so that house that we're just in right there, that is our original house. We've lived out of there, a storage room, etc. Back here is a little enchanting room, which has given us a lot of stuff. And then we can sneak back through this way, our little creeper corridor, seeing a few too many in here. We got a makeshift little nether wart farm in that guy. Did somebody take my block? I think an enderman took my sand block. Wow, rude. Anyways, back here, we got a little bit of a blacksmith going on, a few anvils in here, which we've constantly used and broken all over the place, but that's fine. Using a little trick right there with a little half slab down there to get the armor stand to slide down, and we can throw a little helmet on there and make it look like it's sitting on the table. In here, we have an awesome little super smeltery, which has been cooking up a bunch of iron over here for me, actually, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that guy. But basically, these minecarts go and light up all the furnaces, and we're cooking up a bunch of nether brick over there for some cool stuff we'll be doing in the future. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that we can come over here and check all this stuff out. Back here we have our chicken cooker, which has fueled us with many good bits of chicken for the entire series of multiple months. I don't even want to know how many chickens have died in that thing so far. I figured we would start off by staying on this side of the river. So Papyrus itself is a desert city built around kind of the Nile atmosphere, was what I was really trying to create. A lush environment along the riverbanks. So we carved a bunch of rivers into this area. As you can see, we have a nice little sugarcane plantation over here. In here we have a massive sugarcane storage right and this way. It actually hasn't run that much, but back here you can see there's some sugarcane got up there. Actually, that's perfect timing. But down here is a automated sugarcane farm. So pretty much what we're doing is back there behind that block, there's some slime blocks, and they push forward and push those blocks forward and pop off all the sugarcane, and there's some observers down in that way, that if that final sugarcane down here on any of these rows grows up to being 3 tall, you can see right there, it will activate that observer by sending a tick to it, then sends all of these things forward and causing a reaction all the way down here and gathers all the sugarcane. That stuff all comes down this way into some water streams, and that gets put into the item elevator, which goes straight up to the top and then goes across and gets sorted into those chests. And not really sorted, it just kind of drops down into all of them. I'll be honest, there's no sorting needed because it's all sugarcane. There's not as much as I kind of wish we had. I'll be honest, I think we needed to make the thing a lot bigger, and I've used quite a bit of it as I've been making a lot of rockets, because we need a lot of paper for that. Back here is a little cool little garden area almost. I really like the little bits like this scattered throughout Papyrus. We spend a lot of time doing the minor detail in here. And this back here is we'll go into F5 here, but you can see we made sugarcane as close as we possibly could to each other, so it looks like actually a full field, and you can really get lost in that thing. I think it looks very nice. For those who are probably wondering, we are in CUDA 5.0.6 for the shaders that we have going on right now, just so you guys can know that. It is an older version, but I really like how it kind of looks, and it actually is a bit more efficient than the newer version of CUDA, kind of randomly and blah. But yeah, so there's another here's a little sunken garden area. I think that's carrots and potatoes, just to make things interesting. We got a nice little canoe, raft, something or another in here. Just some trapdoors and stair blocks on the end. The trapdoors are there to make it look a little bit more rounded than just a straight line of 5 blocks. But over this way, we got our nether portal. That goes into all the nethery stuff. We'll be checking that out later, probably much later into the video. Anyway, so what I want to be doing here, this was another sugarcane plantation that I haven't quite finished yet. All of it's planted in, but I like to go in and vary the height and throw some string on top of it to make it a little bit more realistic looking. So we'll have to get to that eventually. Right over in right here though, this is a big stables that we had going for a lot of different types of animals. We got some mules, we got some llamas, we got a few donkeys in here and some horses. And so they just all kind of live together in this area and stay down here, and they can't really leave, and it's fine. So yeah, that's kind of really nice in there, and there's a bed inside that building. That's all it is. A lot of the interiors, I'll be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of them. Let's go ahead and grab our horse so we can kind of move around this area a bit quicker. But I just love the fact of how much time we really spent in this area working with every little individual thing. I was eating pork chops in front of those pigs. Sorry guys. But yeah, so over here, we made this little bridge a long time ago, and we can't really get through and see that because of the horse's head. But yeah, so that's right there. Over in this way, there's just a bunch of different houses in here. Right in there is a AFK fishing farm, which we've spent quite a many hours getting mending until we finally found a new one. This is the cat house. In here, there's just a bunch of cats that I found. I don't know why. They live in there. They're fine. There's a bed in there for them to sleep on. But yeah, over this away, got a nice little fountain in here, just a big old house there, another big old house. There's a bunch of little areas that lead out in kind of these bordering the river little park areas, really lush spots that I really love. I think we did a great job creating the atmosphere in this area. There's a whole lot of stuff, and shaders are making it look so much better now too. But I love this little spot. We got our little rabbits right there. I think one is named Killer and the other one is named Destroyer, if I remember correctly. Somebody in the comments named them. So those guys have been there for quite a while. Over here we got this is our original farm actually. A lot of time was spent harvesting up these crops. Over here is a little chicken farm. Again, doesn't produce cooked chicken, just for eggs. And those guys have stayed in there for a long time. And that chest right down there is very full. That thing has been full for a very long time. There's a lot of eggs. I wouldn't be surprised. Nope, we actually didn't pick any up. But yeah, so this whole area down there, I liked that we used the acacia trees and made some more interesting shapes and things down in that little bit right there, just to add some more interest to the area. So over here we can grab our horseback. This is a bunch of storage. I threw an ender chest right there just because we're constantly running through this area, so it's nice to have that. Back this way is just another path down to that area right there. Here's a little one-story house, another big old two-story house. This was kind of supposed to look like, I don't know, something like it was a royal merchant or like a very wealthy person who lives right next to our big old palace here. So the thing about the palace, besides we have some custom palm trees and things all over the area, you stay there, Mr. Horse. It is actually a mob farm. So this whole area right here is positioned right above a mob farm. If you break down 2 blocks there, you'll fall right into the farm. So we can go ahead and check that out. But we spent a lot of time here building up these structures, creating a bunch of different things. You can actually hear some spiders in the background from the farm. But yeah, so that's kind of the whole area in there. There's just a throne room, then it comes up here. We got that nice little map. It's not like the final destination for it right there, but that is our map of Papyrus. You can see it. It looks pretty awesome. And up this way, we can get all the way up to the top, and there's some cool stuff up here. Just kind of open floors right now. We haven't finished the interior on this guy. Then here's another open floor. You can go through some banners and get up to the top. And there's like a little shrine thing up here where we killed the ender dragon. So I figured, you know what, screw it. We need to put the dragon egg somewhere. So I figured a mystical shrine right here where the king of Papyrus could come and worship to the gods and try and commune with them. But anyways, this gives us a great idea of what it looks like down there. So that is kind of a little lake area where all the rivers come together. And I actually really wanted to make it a lot more lush than it is, and I just kind of ran out of time and wasn't able to do it. You can see we threw some coarse dirt and stuff in the side trying to mix up the terrain. And actually all the way under there, there's a bunch of coarse dirt too, and soul sand and gravel and sand and all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's something that we're going to come back to and finish later on. Papyrus right now, I would say is like 60 to 70% done. I want to be building a lot more houses out in this area, and I would love to come back and actually expand it and get some walls up around the city, but it's a really big city, and it's going to take some time, and we really just got to be able to come back later on and finish this guy up when we are able to kind of looking for a new project and feeling like we want to go back to mining sand all day for the 3rd time. We are going into our Bazaar marketplace. Actually, I never showed you guys the mob farm. Really quick, let's go check that out. because I do want to show you guys that. It's a cool little setup down here. It's a design by Il Mango, and Wells Knight used it on his Kingdoms world in his Roman city of Ragnum in season 1. So if you guys watch him, you'll know exactly what this farm is. Anyways, here's all the drops. They just come up here and get sorted. Right in there is our farm, which is pretty dark, and there's a creeper walking towards us right there. But yeah, so pretty much all we do is flip that switch on, and it's going to lag a little bit here. You can see that guy right there. It's going to be really dark, but he's going to fall off the edge, and then all the water is going to retract here in just a second, and all of it will go back up in there, and it's just a nice little redstone gap back here where it's all kind of being sorted and all that cool stuff. Anyway, so here we are over in our little bazaar area. Each of these stands is kind of themed around something different. So we got a little glassworks area, some sweets. These are all named by people who recommended that we build something like that in here. I asked for people to do comments a long time ago, and if they put a comment down here or something I wanted to use, I put their name on it. So like Geo96's Magical Spice Shop, he wanted to see some glowstone, nether wart blocks, redstone, and then whatever this stuff almost looks like it could be like a wine or something. I think that's the red glazed terracotta. And like here we have a little end shop for Kai. Then this one is saddles and leads. I don't think anybody recommended that one. We have Adam's amazing llama farm. There were llamas here. And oh, there's one of them. He's still hanging around here somewhere, but they all got out, so we kind of just left him there. We got the strongest potions only shop. We got the cages, cage-free chicken farm, which they're back there in a little pen, but not a cage. We got a slime farm right here, and this guy I added in because this is a slime chunk right down here. So we have a little makeshift slime farm, which has actually given us a lot more than I could ever need. I don't use a whole lot of redstone. I don't use a whole lot of slime blocks. So besides actually building the sugarcane plantation farm thing, we never really used a whole lot, so it was never a big issue. But anyways, this is our makeshift cactus farm right down here. It's got, or not cactus farm, sorry, slime ball farm. So it's got almost 4 stacks in there right now, but basically the slime spawn in this chunk. This is the whole chunk right there, and they come into the middle. They try and kill our iron golem up there, is poor old Billy, and they run up against the cactus trying to jump up into him and kill themselves, and it all goes down into there, and it's great. But yeah, that's pretty much how that guy works. Then up here, these are all just kind of caves, and everything's really lit up in this area because, actually, I'm going to light that right there because that will help our mob spawn rates over at the mob farm. But yeah, the mob farm is what we were looking at just beforehand, and that thing has given us so much gunpowder. I think we have 3 double chests still full of gunpowder, and I really want to get a more efficient mob farm going for zombies. So that's something I'm going to be looking into in the future, but I'm really enjoying what we have going with that guy for sure. Anyways, right here we have just a little storage area right there. Guess there's no sign on that one. Where's this one? The paper goods. I guess no sign there. Cerulean's fresh fish. He has to have like a fishmonger. There's a chicken right there. And yeah, so that's pretty much all of the things in this area right here. Seemed like it wasn't that much now that I'm walking through it all. But that was 20 something episodes right there. And that was this whole town pretty much of Papyrus. And where the heck did my horse go? Oh, there he is. He's right over here. So over in this direction, actually, we can go ahead and see it off in the distance right there. But you can see that beacon kind of in the sky briefly right in front of us. So that wheat field right there, I had planned on covering this whole savanna biome with wheat, just kind of have something cool. But you can see that beacon in the top left of the screen right there, briefly, like really barely seeing it. That is our big mining area. There's not anything super fancy over there, so there's no point in checking that out really. So we're just going to avoid it and move on. So now what we're going to head on over to is actually one of our newer areas that we literally just finished up last episode, White Glen. White Glen has been an awesome little village that we've been building, and actually because we found a mending villager there, we decided to go ahead and actually recreate the whole village and however we wanted. This is a pathway leading out to it. I still need to put it in here, but I just don't really know what I want to do outside the city. You can see that pathway that we just walked along right over there kind of ended off into the edge of a city where there's a little like really outlined shape of where a potential gate is going to be going. But anyways, that comes down into this area, and we built this pathway together a while ago, and it turned out so well. There's so much immersion in this area. I spent a lot of time in here, and you can see there's just rocks and shrubs and flower patches and everything in here just works really, really well in my opinion. We spent a lot of time building this pathway and just really trying to create a lot of immersion as you walk through it. I think it turned out super, super well. You can see an occasional sheep walking across the path. There's just different things going on everywhere. We've got a little flower patch right there with some lilacs in it, and it comes on up this way, and there's a bunch of things to explore off in every single side. There's a lot of things that can catch your eye, like there's a little cave, fake cave right back there that could be like a rabbit's home or something like that. Right here we got another little sheep, very, very important placement for that sheep. He stays right there all the time. And here we are coming up on White Glen. White Glen has been our recent project, and I am super, super in love with it. Here we have a windmill that we built like 5-6 episodes ago, which is very, very cool. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in this guy since we've been here for so long. But anyways, this is White Glen. We got a bunch of fields in the area. We have a bunch of little houses. It's supposed to be like a grain silo. And we can head on down this way. There's a few little cul-de-sacs almost in this area with a little well. Then over in this area, there's another little area right there with a little pumpkin vendor right there for Halloween and all that good stuff. Then over here is just this heads off into a bunch of other fields. And we got a nice little gathered up field here, or whatever it be, harvested. That's the word for it. Harvested field, which turned out really, really cool. I love how it really creates a lot, I'm going to say the word again, immersion in the area. And I think that's about 15 times now this episode. But anyways, it's just something different. We could have left this as a wheat field, but no, we actually planted this whole thing, grew it all up, then harvested it, and placed in the hay bales in here with the little fences on top, kind of showing heap stacks of hay, which I thought was pretty cool. We have a bunch of different flower fields like that, just adding some color. There's a big old wheat field, all that super cool stuff. We ended up terraforming this area like crazy. Does not look anything like it used to. And we got a little cow farm right there. Again, totally humane animal farms in this world. Only humane. PETA would love it. And back this way, this is like a grapevine field, almost like trying to be like a winery or something. We got a stable in there. And this is the village center where we have a lot of awesome stuff. This is kind of the house that we lived out in this area. There's a bed up on that lofted area where we sleep in a lot. Over here is a nice little blacksmith. Another new design compared to what we had over in Papyrus. Put in a little helmet right there to make it look like it's being forged almost, or it's there cooling. Another bed back in there. Just some more storage and stuff. Best part is about this place, this is a villager house. That counts as a villager house for some reason, and a guy lives in there randomly when it gets to be nighttime. He runs right in there. Back in here is our little storage room area for this place. A lot of these houses are empty, but there's a lot of really, really cool things to explore. Back in this area, we have a little veggie garden that was carrots on this side, potatoes on that side, but the villagers came and harvested it all and turned it all into potatoes, so I just kind of left it. I didn't want to replant all the carrots because I knew they would do it again, so it's fine. It's just a potato field. Over here is our inn, which we actually recently finished up just a few episodes ago. It's a nice little front area here. Over here is a back few rooms, or not rooms, but just tables, more private tables for the people actually living in the inn was the idea. Back here's a little kitchen area, so you can have some cool stuff and make up some good things. Back over this way is a fireplace with a cauldron, so you can cook up some stew. Up here we got a few different rooms, just really, really small ones, like 2 beds in that guy, and I think there's another 2 beds. We're going to turn around in that guy right there, just kind of having some rooms in here. If we ever need to run by and use a bed, we got access to those, which is perfect. Right there, that was a village library, so we recreated it into a really, really cool little library, actually. And there's a guy, I think, who got trapped up here. There's oh my gosh. Here's where all my stupid villagers are. There's a few guys that are trapped up here. God. Well, we're going to leave them up there. They're safe. Nobody can get them. They're going to just stay there. This village project was very, very fun to do, but oh my gosh, guys, villagers are dumb. They are incredibly dumb. And back here, that's the reason why we have a farmer villager with some solid trades and our mini villager right there. This farmer villager actually has some really, really good trades, so we use him quite often. Up here's just kind of a little house area. I love this little balcony. This is one of the first ones we built in this area, and it's just attached to that guy right next to it. But I love this little balcony area, and the villagers have been loving this thing like crazy too, which is pretty fun. We got a lot of dogs in here. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, so up here is another little house. This is, again, another first one. Got some nice windows going around it, all that cool stuff. And this right here actually does count, again, as a villager house. Very, very cool. I tried squeezing as many little hidden ones as I could into here without making it really ugly looking with just doors everywhere. Back here is another villager house. After building this house, this is when all of the villagers started breeding. I don't know what it was, but it made them, for some reason, when we built the big old church right here, all of the villagers moved to this being as the center of the village, which meant they didn't reach the far side, so they didn't reach a lot of their old houses. But for some reason, when we built that house, they all moved back over to that area for the most part, and that became the village center, actually at the town center, which is pretty cool. So up here, we have an awesome church going on. Here's another map of our area right in here. And you can see we were down that way in Papyrus, and now we're right up here. And we got some cool stuff out in this direction. And the church doesn't have a whole lot going on in the interior, but the shape of it is very, very nice. And I really like it. When we actually finished this little pedestal here, a cleric villager actually came and stood here and would not leave. He just stood there for like 10 minutes, and I think a zombie actually ended up killing him because I forgot to light up the corners. But that's something else we can talk about. Back here is a little cemetery area that we built, which I think looks freaking awesome. But yeah, so down there is actually our nether portal for this area. We hid the nether portal right down in here in a little mausoleum something crypt area, and it worked out pretty well. Somebody a while ago made a suggestion to add in some mossy stone brick and cobblestone, so I went back, or cobwebs, not cobblestone. So I went back and added that in. I also added in cobblestone too. But yeah, it looks much, much better with that. I think that was Veg Druidcraft who recommended that one, so thank you, dude. That did help a lot with making the area a lot better. So stupid future plans that I have, for those who are curious where the series is going, I want to turn this whole area into a mountain range. Right up that way, another like few chunks there's a mountain. And I want to bring that all the way down here and connect it up to where our birch forest pathway is. And because I think this area would have an awesome, awesome view with a backdrop of a mountain. You know, something we'll do over the next few thousand episodes, but it's fine. We'll get there. Over here, we can go ahead and actually, where's our horse at? We could use our horse now. That would be much, much easier to go with our horse. There he is. Yeah, so that's where we're going. Out here is all of the fields that make up this whole area. There's a bunch of different crops, and pretty much every crop in here except beetroot is planted. We got a bunch of things over here, like a little wheat field right there. We got some potatoes right here in little stripes. And right here we actually have one of our newer ones, which is a little pumpkin patch. We built this actually on Tuesday, 2 days ago. So when that episode came out, it's a little pumpkin patch right in here. And down here is a automated pumpkin farm, because I felt like it was Halloween. We had to do something with pumpkins. So here we go. It actually hasn't ran that much because I haven't been able to be on the server too much. So we only have 15 pumpkins out of it, but it's getting there. It'll start kicking into gear as soon as all those stems get fully grown up and get into full production mode. So we'll have a bunch of pumpkins in there eventually. Pretty much as we walk by this area, we should be getting some new pumpkins. Yeah, so this river right here, we completely added it in ourselves. This whole area is pretty much self-terraformed and changed up. It was completely flat before, and we added in a bunch of new slopes and made it a lot more smooth and better, and filled in a bunch of weird little sandy gap areas and all those ugly little bits here and there. We created a new sunflower texture as we went through this area, and it turned out really, really cool. For those who don't know, we do use a small texture pack. Its link is down in the description. It changes a lot of things, like diorite is that lighter stone color up there. Sunflowers are changed. A few of the leaves are changed just for different densities. Better foliage is what's making them a bit more bushy looking and a lot better looking. So we're going to use that mod as long as it's updated, because we might as well make the game look a lot better. It doesn't change gameplay, so I feel completely okay with using it. Anyway, so off this way is where the village will disappear off into. Eventually, it'll go off into another town or something down that direction is kind of the plan. And we even added like we had that harvested field over the other side. I wanted to add something more unique in here. So here's like a dead fallow field where life is trying to come back into the area. But as you guys know, crop rotation is a thing, because the longer you keep crops planted into one area, the less nutritious the soil becomes, the less fertile the soil becomes. So it eventually kills all of it in there, and it's not good to grow crops there anymore. So you actually have to go ahead and clear out the field and leave it for a few years or I think a few years. I don't know actually how long you need to leave it for. You got to leave it for a while and just let life come back to it naturally. So all the worms underground can do their stuff and cycle it all out and all that cool stuff. But yeah, so back here we have a few more fields, another sunflower field, another carrot field, carrots back there, wheat field, all that super cool stuff. This wall right in front of us, somebody actually asked me a little while ago why we had such a massive wall for this village. No, so on the other side of this wall, we are eventually going to make a big city. So here we have this awesome bay area, which stretches off into the distance around the edge right here. And we're going to use this to make a giant port city. Eventually, we're going to get into it and just going to kind of see what happens when we get there. I think it'll be really, really fun to do. But I'm just really, after we did this big project right here, I want to tackle a few smaller things before we get into another large project like that. So I want to do a few things that are going to take like 2-3 episodes instead of 10 to 15 episodes. You kind of know what I mean? So I want to be able to jump around to things more and more as we go and try and get a little bit more interest going in the series here. This is the best series we have going on the channel, which I'm really, really happy about. I love this series so much, and it's really, really awesome. Anyway, so that's the two builds we have out here. Now we're actually going to have to run into the nether to find some more things. We have a few more things in the world that I would love. Oh, no. Oh, you scared me, bud. You scared me. Can we get you in there? And then, nope, come on. All right, well, maybe we need to do this. And then, bam, bam. Haha, you're stuck. But yeah, so we're going to head into the nether. And we have a few cool farms and things we've set up around the world that we're going to go ahead and check out. And there's just, so I originally wanted to find things by biome. And I was going to build things in a biome. And that was exactly what I wanted to work. I had to find the perfect location for it, and I was building it there. There's nothing going to change about where I was going to build it. It had to be in that sort of biome, and it made our world very spread out. I really didn't like the fact of how large spread out our world was, and it's very, very dark in here. Let's go ahead and turn shaders off for now. But I really didn't like the fact of how spread out our world was, and I'll pull a torch out right here using that old dynamic lighting through Optifine. But yeah, so I didn't like how spread out our world was. It was way too much walking to get to an area through the nether. And I really, really didn't like that. So right back there is our desert area right there. That is actually not world spawn. I think I'm going to set our original house to being world spawn just because some people have asked when they've loaded into the area why they're off in some random distance and actually spawns them way down that tunnel that way at the spawn itself, which is not that interesting. Anyways, so we'll check out something in here real quick, which I actually haven't shown this to you guys, but we'll go ahead and check it out here very, very quickly. I've been working on a wither skeleton farm, and it's been kind of my own personal project, something that I've been working on very, very slowly here as I've just kind of had the series going, and I figured you guys wouldn't want to be too interested in it until it's actually more finalized, and there's just a lot of grind work, and I've been doing it like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, so it's not even stuff for a big old time lapse. But this is Tango Tech's wither farm design up there. I don't really want to get up there too much right now because it's not even close to being finished, but that's something we're going to actually be working on here in the very near future, is actually finishing that thing and making sure it's operational. We can head back up this way and see if we can't get ourselves, actually we have to start from the base of the ladder, don't we? But anyways, so what we're going to head to next is our ocean monument. It's something that I actually want to turn into a large build in the future, but right now it's just a guardian farm. We spent a few episodes there doing some interesting things and just kind of clearing out some sand and getting all the guardian farm working and everything. I really hope this doesn't distort too much if we can use a rocket, but we're just going to do this to fly through the area very, very quickly and land, and right here. Yeah, so this is our ocean monument right down in this direction, and we have some cool stuff in here. It's just basically a giant prismarine farm, guardian farm, that I really, really needed to have a lot of stuff going. So we found this island here, and there's an ocean monument right next to it, and I've actually been slowly working on getting rid of the water, or the sand edge. So I want to really turn it into a water edge like this one, and I found a decent way of doing it. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing that. I'm not going to turn shaders on for this area because we actually have to go back into the nether because we have to get somewhere else and there's nowhere to really go in here. But yeah, so this is just a giant prismarine farm right there. I found this design through Mumbo Jumbo, but it's designed by Il Mango. Again, you know, everything by him in this world. Every redstone farm ever is by him that's actually efficient. You can see them dropping down right there. It's all flowing water, which pushes them down. Then there's a lava blade, another lava blade. Then it pushes them into the middle, and then there's just a drop chamber where they end up dying. It's really, really great. That is probably one of the most efficient farms I've ever used in a game or in Minecraft, and it's awesome. So we just pretty much go AFK there if we ever need a lot of prismarine drops. So it's very, very nice. And it's the reason why we made that actually is for the build that we're going to here in just a second. And I will show you guys what that is. I think, which way are we? Are we that way? No, we are this way. Of course, the long hallway. But yeah, so what we made down here is actually a ice spikes biome straight that way. We were working on a elven build. The elven build was something that I really wanted to work on for a while. I wanted to make it like a snow elven build that was just very much fantasy and trying to make it look like these elves were... Oh, I didn't move the nether portal here. But anyways, I want to make the elves look like they were like void of life almost, like the life forces had been sucked out of them. And so now they're in this frozen wasteland area with all this ice and chill and stuff. But we only ended up building this giant structure right here because I got very demotivated with the area. I'll be honest, I potentially want to come back here later. I think the build style is awesome and I think it looks really, really cool, but it was very, very grindy to do. I think we just tackled too large of a building than what we should have because just purely the size of it made a lot of grinding. Like, look at all that cyan concrete. That is so much cyan concrete, guys. It's insane. Then also all of the side of this, that's all white concrete and light gray concrete powder for the most part. There's some white terracotta in there. Then it's all quartz beyond that. So it's just a lot of grind. And then we have the dark prismarine trim, which actually helped the build immensely. Without that, it looked kind of dumb. And actually, let's get these shaders back on because we're not really going to be going through the nether a whole lot. And if we are, I'll probably just jump cut it now because we've pretty much walked the whole nether. But yeah, so you can see this build right here is actually really, really cool. I love this build now that it's more or less done and I'm not really fighting with it anymore. I think it turned out very, very well for what we got out of it. But it seemed like you guys weren't super interested in it and I wasn't super interested in it. So I didn't want to keep fighting with it to just kind of keep getting things going. So we ended up nixing it, and that's actually when we started the village project, and which that has turned into an awesome, awesome build. Anyways, down here, this is their last grotto, the last little bit of life in the region. That's what this thing is intended to be. And so we can walk down in this area. It's a pretty dark cave, but it's mostly spawn proof actually. That's one thing I was really, really happy with. We're using that white flower right there as a light source. So wherever those are, I would put glowstone under a carpet and just try and make it look like the light was coming from those little flowers besides our walkway right here with all the torches. But that was my one way of actually making everything work out really, really well and making it more mob proof. So right here we have a giant crystal floating in the sky. It's glowstone surrounded by slime blocks, surrounded by lime green stained glass. And I think it turned out really, really cool. We did this whole area down here in a big old time lapse, which was really fun. I had a lot of fun. We hollowed out this entire cave. It's actually pretty freaking massive. And then we created like this life well almost, where all the water is coming down and flowing down into here endlessly. And there's just this, it's the last source of life for the elves here. So they're just trying to protect this grotto with everything they have because the frozen wasteland up above is like trying to come in to get it. That was kind of the lore idea behind this area. I don't know how well it actually worked out, but it's a cool build nonetheless, and I think we did an awesome job with it. I know, a really, really fun time building it. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and run on out of here and get back over into our main continent area. I'll meet you guys over there. All right, here we are back in Papyrus, guys, and I was just looking through all of our videos to make sure I didn't miss anything as we're going through the world, because I know it's been it's episode 50. A lot of things have happened, and I've tried every single episode to at least finish one build. Every single episode, I think I can say that we've finished at least one house, at least one full build was finished in every single episode, which I'm super, super excited about. I mean, like this whole thing, like the outside was a build. Each floor pretty much was a build. This was like the throne room itself here. This thing took a long time, so I'm counting that as its own. But anyways, I think we're actually going to end this episode off here, guys. Thank you guys so much for all of the support in Building with Whip. This has been one of my favorite series I have ever done. You guys are all awesome people. Thank you so much for the continued support. To all the new subscribers who are seeing this series for the first time, welcome, guys. I really hope this was able to help you guys catch up to everything that has happened in this world. And I really, really hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys find anything that I've been missing inside the world download of some great loots or something hidden in a random chest somewhere, make sure you let me know. Really, really help me out here. I've been needing some help farming up some resources. But anyways, guys, that's all I got time for today. World download link will be in the description. Texture pack link will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you loved it, and I will see you guys in the next episode for something new. See ya!